Alrighty. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's Fed Day. It's Happy to Hump Day. It should be, woo! Where'd that come from? Too loud. Hey, Janos. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to show you that, let me kill this volume here. The DAX. Let me show you that DAX because I think it's fascinating. Where is it at? Let me think where I put it. I know where I put it. I think it's right here. That's not it. Right there. Here we go. Check this out. This is really interesting. Maybe you'll remember what we were looking for. Right here. Oop. Okay, it's loading up now. It should spill out in a few seconds. Everything else is spilling out. Let's see. Poor VIX, it got in. Well, just before you got back, VIX went into a daily buy for a whole day, and it rolled over the next day. Okay. Well, when the DAX fills in, I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, now let's go over to the dollar index. There we go. And what else we got here? I hear my voice well too much. There we are. Let's get the DAX, get the dollar index up on the screen. Right there. There we are. You can see there. It's a little under today. You know, I mean, I guess, you know, the markets are pushing down a little bit at the same time. So I guess they're not really sure what they want. Let me go back and see if the DAX is filling in yet. Not yet, huh? How about that? Let me just double check it. DAX, I think it's a September contract I have in there. No, it's just, what is this? You see what it is. Instrument. No, it's the index itself. Okay, yeah. So we'll let it fill in because it does. I should have opened it up a little while ago. Anyhow, let's get back to the dollar index, and I can just say to you, there was a triangle you and I marked off. We were talking about something when you wanted to look at the DAX about 6-7 weeks ago, and every time it pops up when I open this page up on this page, I usually open up on the weekends, week 1. I use it to put the charts out, and so you know, it just really amazed me. All right, so there you are in the dollar index. You know, we see we're moving up, but we still can't get through this weekly buy. It seems to be really, you know, just kind of holding back. Doesn't have that oomph, you know, no muscle in it. And you can see over here, what is that? That's the weekly. You can see the weekly is trying to turn up here. We got a green now. And our fast on ours over here on Chicago Quant not turning up. So it's just starting to. You can see the blue line here is turning up. It's at, what is it, at 30, 38, basically almost 31. And the yellow is at 23.5. So we're seeing some strength come in on the weekly on this thing. Now there's the daily. The daily kind of same situation except for it's rolling over like it's rolling over here, and but still all green and still pushing up. And I guess they've priced in the 0.25% increase. There's a lot of opinion out there in the areas that I follow. But they think that it could go as high as 5.5 to 6. That's what they're thinking, that we're going to see 6. So, in other words, they'll probably in September dog it and not raise, right? And then they may raise going into, I guess it would be the late October, and then if they they don't raise in September, then they'll do the October. That's which would make sense, and then they won't say anything about it being over with, and then that'll be the classic October pressure on a stock market. Make the lows the whole bit. All right. So from the dollar index, we inch our way over to the euro. Let's see what the euro is up to this morning. Let's see. And if anybody would like to see anything, I'll start putting it up on the screen before I go through my rhythm. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm always interested in changing it up. You can see here the euro has been moving down for a good week plus now. Last week and this week. We go over to Chicago Quant. Let's see, where are you at? Right there. And there's the euro. And you see euro has been doing the same thing, gliding down, doing a little bump up because just the way the dollar index is trying to bump down. Not a lot of conviction there, not a lot of money trying to make any moves. We talked about this yesterday. If everything plays out the way it looks like it's going to play out, currency pairs are going to look much firmer and different for different reasons over the next year and a half. And that's because a year from now we'll be going into the presidential election. So we'll be like only a few months away, and a year and a half from now, the benefits from the change of government will be even better. Hey, Robin. I'm looking at our new website, our charting service, and let's see, is that today or tomorrow? What is that? I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking at here now. Okay, so is it giving us a pre-market? No, it's giving us the 25th. So it hasn't started ticking yet. Now let's go over to where's it at? I'm going to close that. Would you believe it? Yes. And open it up here. Can you hear that mower? Let me raise the volume here to see if you can hear that mower outside. No. Good. All right, let's put the right there. There's SPY. It's should I try? Where do I want to try to do this? I'm thinking about trying to put it up on the main computer. Let me see. Yeah, you can see there it closed in a daily buy. Actually, what's interesting is 2 days ago. Oh no, that's it. Okay, so yeah, let me just double check this. So there's the 25th. There's the SPY, and it's interesting. The charting in it, I like it a lot. I don't know, it has less errors in it. Let me see if I can put this up on the screen. Let's see. I guess. You know what? I'll do it tomorrow because I don't want to screen share in the middle of this and disrupt the program itself. But can I get it up on here? Maybe I can get it up on here. Maybe I've had it up on here. Let's see. It's probably in charting. If I can, I will. Charting. Yep, there it is. Okay. I can put it up over here. I just want to show you how it's playing out. Log in. Now I just have to put the new password in. But there, as you can see, is the SPY. The SPY's, we're at the high end of the range. The thing is making, strength. The stock market's been strong, and today it's selling off a little bit. Nothing too exciting here. The reason why it's, if nothing else, it's, I'm hearing the mother's milk of equity markets is earnings. I keep on hearing that the earnings are coming out pretty well, and just because of that, earnings coming out well kind of make matter of fact, I heard some analysts over the last couple of days think that we've seen the lows in earnings. That's a big statement. The idea that earnings is only going to look better on the stocks and so forth is definitely something that you have to take serious, because that is a serious thing. Let's see, I'm looking for the password. Where'd it go? There it is. All right, let's get this password in there. See if this will work. Okay. Okay. Almost there. Let's see if this does it. We'll be able to put it up on the screen. This will be the first time Giannis is seeing this. Okay, here we go. And there's SPY. This is our platform now. Our own coding. And you can see here, now that's today right there. We haven't, this is not updating until the market opens. And you can see it's already tried to push through with 2 buys, and we had a red, so it held back there, so that was all right. And then now, just like it was here, red and a green, and it's pressing up. But the interesting thing is that I guess it was this one right here it turned on this one. You can see we've started to move. I've noticed that the daily and weekly histograms seem to be more accurate than our own multi-chart one. I think that's interesting. Let's see, let's go back to that. There we are. Oh, Ferris, how you doing? GM, how about S&P and Dow? Sure. Let's see. Let's move this off for a second. This is the SPY right here. That's what we're looking at there. This is our new platform. We're going to work at making it look more like this, but at least we've got all the components in it at this point. And here is the S&P right there. We went into the buy yesterday. Notice it was -2 the day before that, and it's just a little weak today, and we're still in the plus with no problem, and we've been in a weekly buy in the SPY for a while. Now over on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, let's see if we can open this up again. Open. Right there. All right, now, right there. You see that we've been in a buy in that since this low right here. I guess the day before, the day it was the low. And then we went into a daily buy. We're in a weekly buy for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, going on an 8th week. And you can see that the September contract is refusing to go into a sell. It's been holding up very firm. We wait for the Federal Reserve. Yeah, I know. It's like we're on hold. You can see on the intraday. You can see the intraday. Where's it at? Let's make this. This is how the intraday has been acting. This is the close of yesterday in New York, and it's not really doing a heck of a lot. The intraday. You can see right here. Where's the close at? There's the close right here, and they spiked it down right after the close in the pre-market or post-market, and it's just kind of hanging out. That 90 area seems to be. It keeps on banging up against it and failing. And then you can see much more short term, where the 90 area has been like a resistance for the last 2 hours. When it climbs up above it, it finds a way to go down, and then that's the 90 area. Right. Let me put the line in for the 90 area. Right there. So you can see it's hanging around that 90 area, plays above it, plays below it, plays above it, plays below it, below it, below it, at it, above it. Yeah, it's kind of, and it seemed like the market drove itself down to that 90 area. You can see, was it last night they tried to get down there once, and it rose back up to 4,600, and then rolled over again. And that's where we are now at that moment. Okay. Now, let's see. I see today that on a lot of currency pairs, the direction has reversed as if in a closing of position before the event. Would make sense to me. You know, we talk about the buyer's strike more than anything else, more than heavy selling. And so, you know, it kind of fits that, only what you said is not that. But, yeah, I hear you. I don't think there's a lot of conviction or interest to compete with the Federal Reserve. It's a smart move, Ferris. You know, I mean, why get caught in that tangle? You know, I mean, unless you have binaries and so forth on, there's no reason to get trapped with a hard delta, you know, the spot of anything, or the stock, or the futures contract, or, you know, why get trapped when it could get taken out as a stop, and 5 seconds later it's trading higher, when all of a sudden 6-7 seconds before that they just took you out on your stop. Yeah, it makes, you know, and I think that's the nature of our markets anymore. People don't need to take the risk, and that's what the binaries and the options and all these tools that have been outstanding now for, you know, 4 decades. You know, and they keep on growing. In other words, when you look at the volume at the New York Stock Exchange, or you look at the volume, well, no doubt the volume at the NASDAQ has grown. It's dropped dramatically on the New York Stock Exchange. It's dropped everywhere except for in the options universe. The options universe keeps on growing every year and making records. Keeps on breaking records of participation. So, you know, it is growing, and smarter people are using correct tools instead of pretending that you can trade with stops in an era where things move 1 or 2% in a minute, versus for almost 200 years in America, stocks moved 1 or 2% in a year. And until then, once the options market became listed and became a legitimate tool, all of a sudden, volatility went from 1% a year to 1% in an hour, or a half hour, or 5 minutes. So yeah, makes no sense whatsoever to take, you know, unneeded risk. You could, and if you're that hungry to be long something, you know, or short something, go put a binary on. You know, this way you don't get stopped out. All right, and then just switch right back over to the contract when it's, you know, the spot or whatever it is. All right, now let's go over to where we're looking at the euro. I don't know why that's not updating. It was updating for so long. Settings. Instrument. Huh. I don't know why it's not updating. But I'm not going to fight with it. I give up. There we go. Oh, I just saw it. Did I just see it? I think I just saw it. File. Close workspace. No. Now let me see if I can open it up. I think it just was there. Let's see. There we go. Okay, it's waiting for some type of timeout. Okay. So now, let's see. Let's close that because it's a delayed. It's a delayed contract. That's what it is. I wonder if I can get it up on this. Nah, it doesn't matter. All right. So from there, we just looked at the euro. Let's slide over to. Let's close that out right there. Yes. Let's go over to the British pound. That closed in a daily buy yesterday. That was kind of curious. And it's still showing it again in strength today, too. There we are. And it's still in the weekly buy. It tried to challenge it last week and failed at it. Let's put it up on J4X. There it is. There's cable. You see it's lifting today, going into the buy. You see the blue line has been marching up. Yesterday it was in the plus. And it's joining in with the histogram. Not the histogram, the Hinky-Ashki now. You see, I see today that on a lot. Okay, no, and the honest, I'm flat for now. Yeah, okay, all right. I just always double check the chat line, make sure I'm not missing anything. All right, from there, we move over to the Swiss. There it is right there. There's a Swiss. Moving down. It closed in a daily sell yesterday. I was a little surprised. Let's see. Let's put it in there. There it is. So there's the Swiss. Closed in a sell yesterday. Let's put that line in there. There we are. And we're still in that weekly sell. So, that put us to, and it's, doing its thing. It's doing the right thing. Let's put it that way. It's making money. What can we say about the Swiss at this point? I don't have a strong opinion about it. I am impressed that it got into the 86s and challenged the 85. That was pretty impressive. That says a lot. I think that really represents the confidence we're starting to see in the world. In other words, there's a lot of strange things going on, and confidence is not one of them. With Mr. Biden in the White House, people really have a kind of like an attitude of let's just wait and see. But now markets, as I was saying, have no choice. They've got to start at least nibbling into the marketplace, because if they don't, they're going to be left behind. I was talking to Robin about that yesterday. I said, it reminds me of 1982. I know that a lot of you probably weren't even born in 1982, but the Dow Jones Industrial Average in August of 1982, Ronald Reagan had been president for about a year and 5 or 10 months, something like that. I guess it was August. So it was 18 months. So he comes in 81 in January. So January of 82, August. So it's like 20 some odd months, and he gets legislation passed. Were you 10 years old, Giannis? Yeah. And so let's see, what is it? So the Dow Jones Industrial Average is trading at a little under 700, not 7,000. It's trading at 700, and he gets a bill passed at the end of the session of Congress, going into the last week of August, and it takes just all kinds of things down, taxes, regulations. Just really, it was the Kemp Roth bill, I think they called it. And next thing you know is that the hindsight is 20/20. Let's see. I was born 10. I was a baby, but I doubt the age matters. Some people were born then and lived in their own world somewhere remote. Some get to study past events, know the time better than those that lived. Plus, hindsight is 20/20. Yeah. Oh no, I was right in the middle of it. Saw it change. That's how I got my nickname, DocDow. And I said, this is going to go on for days. This is big news. The Dow ended up running up to 7. It doubled. And it went from 700. It was 600. The low was, that week, the low was 679. I think that was the low. 679. At the end of that week, I think it closed at 1100. Which was an incredible move. And going into that next half a year, that'd be like today. It's at what, 35,000, 34,000. Where is it at? Let's put it up on the screen. Not there. Right there. Not there. Right there. I keep on doing the wrong one. There we are. The Dow is like, right? I just saw it. There it is. September Dow. Yeah, so the Dow is at 35,500, right? So it was at 679 of a low on a Thursday or Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. Thursday, they put 20 points into the market, which back then was a monster move. It was like 200-point move. Today, maybe? No. It would be like a 2,000-point move. That's what it was. It was like a 2,000-point move. And today. And it did 200, and the following day it did like 300. Before you know it, we were just flying. We broke 1,000, which was an all-time high. The 1,000 area was an all-time high for 4 decades. In the 1950s, it got up to 1,000 and failed. In the 60s, it got up to 1,000 a couple times and failed. In the 70s, same thing. And in the 80s, it was when Reagan got elected, the market ran up to 1,000, which was a big number. That's like 30%. Can you imagine 30% on 35,000 now? 30%. That's basically 15,000. So can you imagine having a 15,000-point week? That would be incredible. And so. 35,357. Yeah, that's probably the cash, right? This is the futures contract. That makes sense. That would be the dividend and the interest rate and so forth blended in. That would make plenty of sense. So, markets anticipate economic changes by government, and right now, I think that's what we're looking at. I don't think that you have a lot of sellers. You just at times the buyers disappear. That's all. But they don't have a hunger to be selling and getting out. And then Rob and I talked about this yesterday after the webinar, and I think I mentioned it yesterday, that there's over $2 trillion that need to still get into the market, with a total of $5 trillion sitting on the sidelines in general. So out of the $5 trillion, $2 trillion need to be invested. They need to be invested. So every time we see a little weakness and it goes back up, that's why you're seeing it. Because they need to be invested, and they like to buy low and sell high. They don't like to buy this nouveau idea that you buy high and then keep on buying more as it goes higher. We call that cannonballing, and it's not exactly the best way to trade. So that's where we're at. And let's see, do I have this on here? Let me just show you. Where's it at? Okay, let's go back to home. Because I think I put YM. There it is right there. Here it is on our new platform. I'm hearing dings somewhere. Oh, that's another thing coming out too. The Hunter Biden plea deal. Yeah. I mean, his lawyers last night lied to the judge. No, the court. I'm sorry. They went to the clerk of the court and tried to lie and get something removed and claim that they were somebody else. They are really desperate. Definitely desperate. The attorney that did it might be disbarred today. They'll probably recommend that she'll be disbarred. And then the judge threw it in what they tried to remove. She made it Exhibit B now as evidence. So there's a lot more noise coming out today than just the Federal Reserve at this point. They got to indict Trump today on at least 2 or 3 places. They'll find somehow Don't be surprised in the next 24 hours they indict Trump for something else. They gotta keep him in the news. Now that's silver. No, that's right. Yeah, that's the Dow Jones Industrial Average. You see, it's been in the daily buy for a while there, and you can see it's been in that weekly buy for a while there. It's the same math. It's just our platform now. So you got J4X, and then you have Chicago Quant platform instead of the one we have right here. All right. Now, from there, and I guess the conversation was, I'll go back to the currencies unless someone wants to see something. What was it? Was it Ferris that was looking for S&Ps and the Dow, right? Yeah, just double checking. Yeah, it was that. Okay, cool. Was that satisfactory? Then, let's go back to the currencies. Unless someone wants to see something else, and I'll gladly run to it. Believe me. All right, now from there we'll go to the yen. Boy, I heard. I get the Grant's newsletter. Oh my God, Japan is such. They've put $4 trillion. I guess it's dollars. $4 trillion since 2013 into their economy, trying to pump it up. $4 trillion, and they're stuck in the 3+ inflation area, and they can't. They want to get down to 1, and they're still trading bonds in minus in Japan. So, and how many times have I told you that what's even wilder is that China is in worse shape than Japan? And it's like, oh my God, the whole world is really sloppy. There are too many earnings incoming to look at an algo. To me, my algos seem to be ahead of them most of the time. But, we might look at some headline instruments. Do you look at the dollar index already? Yeah, but let's go back to it. I have no problem going back and forth. Believe me. Traders stare at these things all day long. And you never know what you're going to see in something. And that's why I like to go back when someone says, hey, can we look at this? It's like, yeah, let's go back to it. Yeah, right there. And you can see it's trying to, lift up. The line is breaking right here on the daily. Let's put it up over here again. Right there. Right there. You can see just a little bit more down than when we first looked at it today. Just a little bit. Well, they raised the rate today. It's a quarter. Okay, that's what that whole move was. Now we're going to go for till September, waiting for the next rate cut, and there's serious talk that they'll skip that one. Not rate cut. I'm sorry, rate increase. And they say that they're going to not do a rate increase. So I kind of think that they'll push the dollar down, with the 0.25%, or it'll gap it up from that moment, and then it'll slide down. Either way, I take the Ferris point of view. That is, be flat. Let them do their thing, and then jump in and have the fun. Make the money. Exactly. Does it show that the power will slam the dollar down? Yeah, you can see that on the green line here on Chicago Quant. We're in a weekly sell on Chicago Quant, and over here on J4X, same thing. You see the blue line breaking down, below. Our hinky will change. It's a little bit slower than our dots. Notice there's no dot on this one at this point. So, it's showing the pressure now over here. Same thing with the J4X. It's a small green developing, and you can see the line is above. And you can see ours, though, is not the same line. Is not really. It's close to being the same line. It's about 68-70% of the time connected to it. And so, but more of time than accuracy. So in other words, in a couple hours it'll catch up and do what Chicago Quant is doing, and then it'll roll over again, or if we've rolled over, then it'll roll over. So that's what I'm thinking, is that it's trying to tell us that the buyers don't want to buy dollars right now. You can see the pressure on it right there. It's nothing major, but they're not interested. Look, like I said, they're not a lot of sellers out there. What it really comes down to, there just isn't a lot of buyers at the moment. And when there's buyers, it gets pushed up. They don't. There's no sellers to slow it down. Maybe a little profit taking to adjust the way. Let me remind everybody how like a fund works. Most funds have a group of equity that they're trading. Okay, like 20 stock. Let's say you're a $2 billion fund. You're probably trading between 20 and 22 stocks. Now, that doesn't mean you're following 20 or 22. You're following probably like 50 or 60 or 70. And when one of the 22 do something wrong, they pull it out and they move the best out of the other 40 that they've been watching. Now, at the same time, they try to keep their fund, and you can do this, you can multiply this concept up to 100 billion or 200 billion or a trillion. It can do the same thing, but this is how they kind of start off. So when you have that little village or group, what happens is that they try to keep them at 2% all the time. So in other words, you own 22 stocks, or let's say 20 stocks, let's round it out. You own 20 stocks, you got 2% on each one of them. That leaves, kind of makes the fund with bonds and other things and cash adjusted. And what they do is they may have 70 or 80% of the capital invested, with those 20 stocks. And so then what they do is, why you see ebb and flow, why you see things go up and down, is because they try to keep it at 2%. So if one of the stocks takes off for the day, and it gets, let's say they're up 3% for the day in that stock overall. In other words, instead of the portfolio showing it as 2% of the portfolio, it now shows it as, say, 2.75. What they'll do is they'll start liquidating some of it. Now, let's say one of the other stocks, they still like it, but now it's only 1.6% of the portfolio. They'll go and start taking the money that they're taking from the one that's up at 2.7, bringing it down to, say, 2.2 or 2.1, and they'll start using some of that money to move the one that's at 1.6 of the portfolio up to 2%. So they're always adjusting like an engine and a piston going up and down. And so when you look at the dollar index right now, or a currency pair in particular, what happens is they're doing the same thing. They're if it gets bigger than they want to hold, they will liquidate some, and when it becomes cheaper or dear, less expensive, then they'll step up and buy. And they go back and forth with this. They oscillate that back and forth, back and forth. So that is what you're seeing in the currency right now, is money is not stepping up and buying, it's just standing back with the dollar. And so there's a little pressure from some sellers. Nothing, major or anything, but it's there. And so the algos are telling us that they're not buying at the moment. That's the way I look at it. They're not buying at the moment. And so once the news is out, then they'll do their thing, and maybe they'll spike it up and then sell it down, or they'll keep it firm. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see. And then from there, when I'm looking at short-term trading, I'm not looking at a daily or a weekly per se. I'm more like this. Here I'm looking at intraday charts, because they're going to pick up the action. Like in this case here, you can see the S&P has sold down to 84. This is the very, very short term intraday. It creates a bar like every minute, if not less, sometimes half a minute sometimes, because it's a spatial bar. So it's 963 contracts. You can see it's been in the buy right here, 3 bars back, and what did it do? It took off. Now it's not a lot, it's only 2 points, but that's the way it works. All right, from the yen, I think we left off at the yen. where's it at? Right there. Yeah, there's the yen, and the yen is trying to break down a little bit in here, which when it's going down means it's gaining against the dollar. So it's showing that strength, just like the dollar index is showing that weakness. And you can see we are trying to get back into the weekly sell. Climbed in a weekly buy last week, and now it's already threatening right off. It's got a 99% chance it's closing in that weekly buy, if not more, 99 point something. So that's the yen. Now let's take a look at the Turkish lira. Turkish lira hasn't made an all-time high in over 6 days. That's pretty cool. I guess they've run out of steam. They got up to our 31 that we were looking for. I guess it's kind of done and over with for the time being. What else can we say about the Turkish lira? The weekly is pretty high up. Let's throw it on J4X. Right there. You can see that right there. It's just been on one continuous climb in the weekly, and here's the daily. So we haven't been in an all-time high now for 6 days, and you can see we're coming down towards the bottom end of the range. All right, now from there, where do we go from there? Let's go over to the peso, the Mexican peso. Right there. There we go. You see, it has been bouncing up, not a lot. This is the King Brick, and I believe the BRICS are having their conference right now down in South Africa. So something's, there. Let me look for that for a second. Let me look in the news. BRIC news. Conference in South Africa. BRIC Summit, July 10th. Okay, so let me see. That was July 10th of 23. That's us. South African president. They done it already, I guess. Announced on Sunday the next month's BRIC Summit. Oh, it's next month. Okay, BRIC Summit. Let's see. There we go. South African president Sunday. Next month's BRIC Summit, which Vladimir Putin had been invited to, will be held in person despite. Will be held in person despite an arrest warrant in Russian. Okay, so he's gonna. That was. When did he say he was gonna do that? That was in July 9th, but then he said no. So it sounds like they're having a BRIC conference. Oh, here it is. It will host the 15th BRIC Summit. Let's see, where? Financial Hub, Johannesburg. August 22nd to the 24th. And what they did is they got Putin to agree to not show up, and he'll zoom in instead. That's what it is. Okay, so let's see. Where are we at now? We're at the end of July just about. So we're looking about 30 days, maybe 26. So we have 5 and 22. That's 27 days. 27 days away of a BRIC conference. That should be interesting. Maybe we'll find out if the Mexican peso is going to be formally invited into the BRIC. And then from there we go over to the South African rand, which is the second biggest BRIC. And you can see it's been moving down, but today it's bouncing up a little bit. It's losing against the dollar. That's curious. So gold must be being pushed down at the moment. That's usually why that happens. Let's put gold up on J4X. Don't look down. Looks like it's up. I saw it this morning. It was up. There we are. Yeah, it's up. That's odd that the South African rand is heading up, losing against the dollar this morning. Maybe it's politics. Let's see. Like, does it show that Powell will slam dollar down or boost it? I think it's saying more than anything else is that they don't care. Honestly, I think they're just saying, okay, look, they know that things are changing. Economically, they know that almost nothing's going to get passed now until the next president, basically. We're going to go through, a lame duck year plus now. That's what's going to happen. So, markets are happiest when the government is not doing anything to interfere in business. So what do I think that would mean for the dollar? I think the dollar is going to go sideways to down. That's, I think, overall, not as a short-term trade. What's going on here? Hey, Bright, how you doing? We're yakking about the market. It's a cyber trading pit. You can chime in. You can ask to look at something. You can tell us what you think about it, the whole bit, or we can tell you what we think about it. Whatever floats your boat. So we're talking about the what we're seeing in the algorithms and what that might mean for the pairs trades with the dollar or the dollar index itself. But I'm not really getting any sign of anything more than that. Today we just wait for and look what Doc's algorithm predicts. Exactly. That's pretty much what it comes down to at this point. We always talk about it here, and that is that our objective is not the trade. Our objective is to make money. So it's not hey Mountain, it's not smart to step into traffic. When cars are flying by you. Nothing will get passed now until the next president, which is obviously will be Trump. Exactly. Any coach, training, how to learn. We talk about it all the time. You have a question, we'll answer it. We have no problem. We always say, there are no dumb questions, there are no stupid questions when dealing with money and trading. There are only long answers or short answers. That's all it comes down to. So, at this point, it's the smartest thing is to be neutral. If you're trading today, you want to be doing it in literally seconds. In and out, take your profits. You don't want to try to build a position in something like, you buy it and you're wrong and it goes down. You buy it again and you start to average into it. You don't want to do something like that today, or vice versa. You don't want to short something and then it goes the wrong way on you and you keep on shorting more of it. This is not the day to do that. They could change the trend if he says something. Do I expect Powell to say something? Not really. I mean, he's going to talk, but is he really going to? No one's anticipating him coming out and saying, by the way, I'm thinking about cutting rates very, very soon. Or we're at the end of rate increases. He's not going to come out and make that statement at this point. So, I don't think he's going to. I think he's just going to try to play it close to the chest, as they would say in poker. All right. From there, we take a look at the last product in the currency side, and that is the Canadian dollar against the oil market. And there it is right there. Canadian is losing a little bit against the dollar today. It's in a daily buy for 4 days now. It is threatening the buy again. So it was playing with a sell, and now it's right back because it went into the weekly buy last week. And you can see the pressure has been on it now. It tried to get underneath and didn't do too good a job. Let's see. Ferris says, sounds like we'll be short-term trading the next year. No, I think there's going to be... No, I really think the markets... We've been bullish here for months now. We kind of think the markets have no choice but to invest. because the one thing, like that's why I had that conversation about 1982 and Ronald Reagan's change in taxes and policies. Um, the market went flying once they started doing it. It started to fly, and there was no stopping it. We went. They never went back down and tested a thousand. They never went back and tested 700. They started climbing and climbing and climbing, and the crash of '86. They were trading around 23 or 2400 on the Dow, or 2500, something like that, and they traded it down to about 1200. It was like a 50% haircut, but they didn't get rid of it, and before you knew it, they were back to 2400 again. It was a very short-lived sell-off. I don't see money moving away from stocks. So that tells you that there's going to be stocks are going to move up. Currencies, I think currencies are like they're the best of the trending tools out there. If you're trying to trade something in a trend, it's it. So let's see, was this after the election or during it? What's that? In '82? It was after the election. But the markets, first of all, they didn't expect Reagan to win, and so the market started to firm up, and going into before he got elected, they started to take off. They started to make moves on the upside. They went right when they started realizing he was going to be the president. Let's see, we got too many big moves today. Has Rolls-Royce come out? Yeah. Google and Snap. Yeah. I have hit my limit for reporting the stuff further down the chain. I hear you. Yeah, there's a lot of earnings. Well, this is earnings season, and the earnings are coming out looking good. I heard General Electric this morning was really good. This is earnings season, and every time there's weakness, money comes in and buys the good companies. So, I think it's more of an investment thing. Yeah, I think there's been some big deals made, right? That's always it. I see Rolls-Royce got plus 24% this morning. Yeah, they've been doing great. Didn't they get that big Airbus contract about 2 months ago or 3 months ago for like 1,000 Airbuses for the next 7 years or something like that? And they use Rolls-Royce. And same thing with General Electric this morning. General Electric owns what's the name of it? The jet engine company, and they're lifting also at the same time. Their stock is running. I can't think of it now. Let's see. There's 2 engine companies in the States. I'm trying to think of their names. Don't ask me why they're eluding my brain at the moment. But Pratt and Whitney. And I'm trying to think of the other one. Let me look it up. And I think Pratt and Whitney is owned by General Electric. Let's see, jet engines. And Rolls-Royce is the number one competitor. Pratt and Whitney is General Electric. That's right. Williams International, Honeywell manufactures them, and I'm trying to think who else. There we go. There's a bunch of them actually. Where's Rolls-Royce on this list? That's odd that they don't have Rolls-Royce on this list. Because Rolls-Royce, I think, is number 1 or number 2 in jet engines. Okay. Huh. Because I heard General Electric is up this morning. Let me just check that out. I heard it's like at a 5-year high or something like that. General Electric is basically flat now. It's down 11 cents. It's at $117.05. And it was as high as $17.42 today. So they're not really pushing down on it. We'll see how the market starts it off, you know. Yeah, I know that Airbus got a really great contract, or a couple contracts for like 1,000 planes over the next 6 or 7 years. So that's really, that's going to pump the engine market. All right, traders, I guess we're going to get out of here at this point. Normally, let me do this. Let me just show you a couple of products. Like, let's see. Let's go like this. There's crude oil. A little off today, but still in a daily buy. You see the weekly buy. Here is silver. Silver is trying to get into a buy, but it's down a little bit. But it's in a weekly buy and been in a daily sell now for 4 days. Gold yesterday went into the buy. Right there, it was higher today at one point, and it's still just a little higher, and it's in a weekly buy for 2 weeks now. Over on natural gas. They're breaking down a little bit today into the sell side. It's been in a weekly sell for since last week. And 30-year bond, you see it's trying to lift up. And let me think, who else is there? Let's look at platinum. There's platinum. Went into a daily buy yesterday, and it's in the weekly buy, and it's trying to get into a daily sell as we speak. So, all right, guys. This is Doc from North America. We will catch you all tomorrow, same time, same channel. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Oh, first, thank you for showing up.